Good morning, good morning. I'm super excited to be here. I dressed up for you. I work at the sports complex up at the mall mornings, so I'm almost always in full athletic wear. And this is actually pretty close to that. I can really do anything I need to do with it. But I do need help when I go to the bathroom because I think it's for younger women. I can't quite reach that anymore. I don't know what's going on. It's like frozen shoulder or something. Yeah, my Compass moms know what's up, right? Okay. So I just wanted to tell you that, first of all, I am thrilled to be here because the reason I live is to go back for the ones who want help. Like, if I'm here at 46, I'm going to run back to whoever's before 46 and bring them up along as they go. My soul's desire is to help people go on. My older sister and I, Melanie, we talk on the phone all the time, and she's like, everything is so hard, this is happening, that's happening, and I'm gonna die. And how does one go on? Like, I don't want to do anything anymore. I don't want to brush my teeth, I don't want to do the laundry, I don't want to do the dishes, don't want to go to work. How does one go on? And as I heard her say that, I'm like, you know what, I feel like we all feel that at some point or another, even if it's just a small part of us is like, I don't want to do this today, and we have to do it anyway, especially when we're moms, because there's little people counting on us, whether we feel like it or not. And so that's kind of me at my core. I think that's, you know, my spiritual gift is encouragement. And so if I can infuse you with the courage to go on, that is my life's work, if you will. And so it's never over, which is great. And the fact is, too, that I think that I was my most in need when I was a young mom, just like you. I went to MOPS, which is a Vital Moms equivalent, for years, and met some of my very best friends in that room. I'll bring that up later. So one thing that, or two things I would never want to do, I don't want to bore you, and I don't want to waste your time. So I do talk a little quickly. I'll try to work on that. And I also want to give you things that are very practical. So I want to just preface this by saying everything that I say is going to be practical, boots on the ground, very brainstorm-like. Like, I'm here to give you ideas and to inspire and to encourage and to bring you along, right? Those are kind of the main things. But if you don't hear anything at all that I say from here on out, I'm going to ask you just to get more aware, because what you notice is the most important thing about you. Not only out and about in the world, but within you. Like, what's going on with me with this friendship issue? Or what's going on with me with this relationship that I can't figure out? And if you start to notice it, you can change it. And if you can change it, you can improve it. And if you can improve it, then you will want to go on. See how that all goes. So awareness and noticing is going to be kind of underneath everything that I'm bringing. So I just put my little lightning bolt up here on the little tiny corner of my screen. I want to tell you a little bit about that. My training for the life coach certification that I got, they put you through what it's like to be coached so that you could then coach other people and then train you along the way what's right and what's not right and how to do it right. Well, anyway, there's one day we go through this whole thing that says, what was a highlight peak experience? Just feel it, think it, remember it, be there. And I was like, okay, we were on the roller coaster. It's me and my husband. We're literally getting ready to be launched on that one that's the Incredicoaster. It shoots you so fast. And the anticipation of the launch, because I knew that it was coming and I'd been on it before, was so exciting and exhilarating to me. And as I got my coaching through what was that experience like for me, I was like, there's just so much possibility. You might laugh, you might actually sometimes a little tear will come out of my eye when I'm overwhelmed even in a positive way, right? Your body just will experience something, and there's a possibility in what you're gonna feel and what you're gonna do next, and then literally what you're gonna do after you get off the roller coaster. It just launches you, and there's something about that, right? Well, as you get the coaching, they're like, well, what is it about that? What do you feel? What do you do? And I was like, it's just, there's so much possibilities. And then they said, okay, you need to craft a sentence that is like highlighting the bottom line of this experience for you. And so my bottom line about like what it is that I love the most is that, ready? I am the lightning bolt that causes others to see the electric possibilities. I like that response, thank you. I want people to know that there are more possibilities than just living for a lunch break, living for a Target run. Give me a shout out. Living for nap time. Living for bedtime. Dinner out. What else? What? Coffee, dates. Like, you don't have to wait for those things because there's qualities within those items that you're getting, and those qualities can be found in other places. So, lots of big picture stuff today. Okay, let's look at the next slide, Mr. Toby. All right, I made you some fun shapes. The abundant life is what God promises us, and it's our job to figure out how to access it. So my little circle is like, there's an up-down arrow because God's giving you stuff, and you're asking God stuff and giving God stuff, and there's this interaction between Him and you, and that gives you what you need so that you can then turn out and put your arrow out into the world and like do something amazing with it. So that's that. And then valuable relationships, I put the little 3 recycle looking arrows and the refresh button on your internet browser because, well, that's what made the most sense, but now I've taken you off of what it is. But the the fact is, like we feed each other things, and it helps us go on, right? Like, you get encouragement from your friend, you get acknowledgement from your husband, you get whatever, and you're like, okay, good, that was valuable, I can do that again tomorrow. So valuable relationships keep you going. And then legacy is this part where, like, okay, God has given you the thing, here I am with the thing, and now I want to give it out to the people who are behind me and move it along. I find myself there. With 2 grown kids, both married, and a grandbaby, at 46, I'm like, yeah, the fast forward plan kind of put me in a position where I would have been at 22 to some extent, like, you get out of college and like, okay, what am I gonna do? And so I got out of parenthood and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I basically went from, I mentioned before, the most needy time of my life, like struggling and having a hard time, to what am I gonna do about this? And how am I gonna do it? And doing it. And then now I'm here, I'm like, oh, I have become really strong. I've become really connected to the Lord. I've become ready for anything. And so that's what the legacy part is about. But you guys aren't in that yet. So let's go to the next slide, and I'm just gonna show you that that's where we're at. We're at the valuable relationships part. You have to have relationships. I mean, nobody wants to talk about it, but like going through the grossness that was COVID and that part of our lives where we were all separated from one another, that shows us the most that we need each other. And like just kind of getting back to normal is actually almost uncomfortable now. We don't even know how to do it. Nobody even knows how to do this anymore. Like, how do I make friends without finding them online? I don't even know. But you're in the room, and we're talking about identity and friendships, so that's what we're going to focus on today. And then this is where I was going to tell you about the lightning bolt, but I already did that. So let's go. All right, let's take a look at the next one, shall we? So, as we were looking at friendships, I was thinking about it, and I thought we might have people in a lot of different scenarios in this room. And so, you might be feeling good about your relationships, like things are actually good. Finally, I've got a couple friends I can count on, a couple friends I can meet with, one couple maybe that actually fits with my whole family. Like, did we ever talk about the fact that it's hard to find one friend that you like, but let's find a friend that you like, your husband likes, and your kids get along with, and you don't hate their kids? That's like a whole Venn diagram. There's like one person on the planet that fits that category. I just want to tell you there is hope. You might have to train them though. So, but if you are in the position where you're feeling good about your friendships, I want to bring you back to that awareness factor. Like, be aware of it. Like, thank God for this. Like, oh my gosh. I remember a time when it wasn't good, and I have it good right now. That sort of awareness and like almost like it's like comparison but backwards. Like, oh, look at this time I didn't have, but look what I have now. Like, it's gratefulness in comparison mode, and it's really important to just be aware of it so that you can appreciate it and nurture it and do better with it, right? And there's something called positive remembrance. I mean, just remembering something in a lovely light, kind of nostalgic, thought processes. Like, go back and remember how you met and talk about it. Be like, oh my gosh, remember when we met? Fun story. We used to do the introductions in our MOPS, and someone would stand up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to tell everybody my story right now. And they stand up like, hi. And my friend was like, hey, I'm from California, like 15 minutes down the street from me, Pasadena. I lived in La Cristina. She goes, hi, I'm so-and-so from Pasadena. And I am new to the area and just excited to meet some new friends. And then sit down and try to avoid everybody looking at her. Well, I'm like this. I'm like, hi, my name is Kelly. We should be best friends because I live 15 minutes down the street from you when I lived in California, and now we're here, and like, you're probably the only person that feels normal to me because everybody here is from Arizona. It's weird. I bet I got a lot of California girls in here. Do we have any? Oh my gosh, my people! Okay. That's amazing. I moved at 15, and so at 22, when I had my first kid, it still wasn't really out of me. And at this point, I don't know if I have much California left, and you can't drag me back there if you even try now. But I found something in common. I went up to her, introduced myself, and literally, are you ready for this? Our daughters just became sisters. So my daughter married Kathy Peach's middle son. Got your head around that one? Her daughter married Kathy Peach's youngest son. You all are going to be so sad when you realize that Kathy Peach does not have any toddlers. She makes excellent boys. Their family has been a blessing to us. And I'm like, Grace gets Kathy Peach for a mother-in-law? What? She won the mother-in-law lottery. Okay. So after you positively remember, like going back and doing that is an exercise in bonding. You literally do like a neuroscience trick on yourself when you go up to them and say, hey, do you remember when I came up to you? And they're like, actually, no, I was so worried about everybody looking at me. Now that you remind me of the whole story about it. But then it kind of like gives you this remembered story of like, oh yeah, we do go way back. And oh, do you remember when we did this and we did that? And all of a sudden, you're in a story that you two share that no one else shares. And actually that brings me to a really sad moment. Do you have super great, awesome inside jokes with like that one friend you grew up with, or you were middle school and you guys are both protecting those videos? I had that friend, and she passed away from cancer in 2018. And now when I say, it's all in the reflexes, yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody gets my jokes with her. You have to enjoy the friendships you have, because you don't always have them forever. All right, last part of this one. You know what, Toby, I need to go forward. Would you go forward with me? He's sleeping. Just kidding. Noticing positive remembrance, and then hallelujah, you know? Like, you can have that moment with her, and then have a moment with God. Be like, thank you, I don't have words for this. Hallelujah. Like, hallelujah is a word for, I don't have words for this. And it's a word for, like, giving God glory. And it's a word for celebration. So, notice it for yourself. Share the moment with her, and share the moment with the Lord. Like, that hits them all. And if you need friends, that might be another category you're in. So, there's a total 180, right? We've got the person who feels better, feels pretty good about their friends, things are going right. And then we got somebody who's over here like, help me, I need friends. And you're me, when I ran up to that girl and said, hey, can you be my friend? And actually, my mom told me a story right when we walked in here. She goes, well, Kelly, you gotta tell a story about Paulette. Well, Paulette is my mom's like bestie friend from when I was growing up. Me and Becky, you know, the daughters grew up together and did all the things. I don't even know what we did. Squirrely, very squirrely. And But they would be hanging out, and we would be hanging out. And she goes, I sent her a letter. I found all these pictures of when we were in high school and beyond, and I sent them to her, and I said, look at us, 52 years ago, when we met and when we were friends, when we first were being so close with one another. And she ended up talking to her again later. She goes, no, Connie, it was 1970. That was 54 years ago. 54 years ago, Paulette came up to my mom and said, you seem like a lot of fun. Can we be friends? Like, it only takes 5 seconds of courage to be like, that girl's dressed so cute. I wish I was her friend. And then you go up to her and say that, I love your outfit. Can we be friends? And that seems like a big jump, but what if it embarks you on a 54-year friendship? What if it embarks you on the next friend who shares play dates with you, like my mom's friend? Like, we literally would trade off days. I would take Wednesday, she would take Friday, and I would get my Costco run done, and she would go to the doctor. And we would just take care of each other. Like, the risk of feeling awkward for that day, or maybe even just a few minutes, if you're lucky, is that you're getting a benefit that lasts you years. There's a different value in that. Could you trade the awkward feeling for something so valuable? Absolutely. 5 seconds of courage. So if you need friends, I'm putting check yourself, because I told you from California and I like a little bit of rap. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Product of the 80s. You can go look that song up. Just Google it. Actually, I love how all the songs now, like, they're not even from a time anymore. Songs are just songs. It's really great. But check yourself before you wreck yourself is here to say, like, if the same thing keeps happening over and over again, I hate to say it, but what if you're the common denominator? What if your insecurities are getting the best of you? What if you were chasing them away? It was me. Hi, I was the problem, it was me. And I still find myself doing it. Thank you, Taylor Swift. Yeah. Couple stories. I'll be as quick as I can on these because they can go all day. My friend in Prescott that I met when my daughter was born, she's my younger, so now we've got 2 kids, and I never have enough friends. So I was still working on this, adding to the collection of friends. And this friend was new to me. Guess what? She's from California. And we're bonding, we're chatting, we're talking. Oh yeah, I went to this church. Shut up, no you did not. So did I. Oh, well what year did you go? Oh, I left in 1992, I think is what it was. She's like, no kidding. I started going the summer of 93. I'm like, no you did not. And we're back and forth. And I am not kidding you right now when I say we both dated the same boy. What? We both have pictures of him like at a dance. Okay. And not only that, but she's my twin. Talk about Taylor Swift lyric notification. So this is crazy. I'm now connected to her for the rest of my life, in my opinion. But then she keeps going back to California to visit her family, and I'm like, where'd she go? I need a play date. I need to go to the park. I need to go out of my house before I die. It was a little dramatic. And then when she would come back, I would kind of be like passive-aggressive blamey. I'd be like, well, I mean, you're gone for 2 weeks, so what have you been doing? You know, acting weird about it. And she's like, oh, well, my grandma's really ill, and I was like, oh, really sick. Okay, that's hyperbole. But that's the way I was feeling because my needs were not getting met. And I really needed her, right? So, in my opinion, my needs were not getting met, I needed her to fill it. And when she wasn't there to do it, then instead of like going, oh, well, she's a whole human being who has her whole own life and I need to let her have that and I need to figure out another way to get my needs met, I would kind of get weird with her. And so then she's like, cool, I'm gonna talk to you later, I gotta go. Baby's crying, and then she would ghost me, you know, like not call back. And it was me. Okay, don't get weird with your friends. So easy. We can talk about that later if you need help with it. Another friend, she stopped calling and texting, and I was like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to her in a while. I forgot to reach out, and I haven't done anything, and like, that's kind of weird. And I was like, hey, have we not seen each other because, like, normal stuff, or is there something else going on? And she goes, can you talk? I was like, no. Turns out we were embarking on a 3-year friendship pause because I didn't know how to let her get a word in edgewise. She asked me a question. She's really good at asking questions. And so she asked me a question, how things going? Oh, well, let me get started. Get comfortable, because I have a lot to say about it. I have all these things that I need to get out because I'm a verbal processor, and because I'm alone all the time and I need friends. And so then she's like, okay. And she's like, well, I guess she's not going to ask me another question. What else is going on, I guess? Like, she didn't know what to do with me. So then she's like, well, I guess she's not going to be there for me. So she quietly slowed down, calling me, texting me. We've got to reciprocate. How many people in this room wish their friend that they have right now would do something for them? Okay, it's actually small. I thought it was going to be more. But do you feel like you're always the one giving and never receiving? Like, that just, it gets tiring. I'm crying now because I have shame. It's fine. My friend who passed away from cancer in 2018, she and I had a terrible time when we hit 20, because she started turning into like a, I don't know, not a vegan, but like close enough. And I didn't know how to do that. I was like, come to Arizona, we'll hang out. Yeah. And we took her to Zeke's. And have you ever been to Zeke's? Go there in the 90s. Go there in the first couple years of the 2000s. She goes, I'll have an egg white omelet with spinach, please. She's from Southern California still. She's there. She's doing the whole thing. She's like, I need a green smoothie. Can I get some collagen in that? And they're like, honey, we don't have egg white omelets. She's like, oh, okay, I guess just a regular omelet then. And, what I want to say is like, can I have it cooked in ghee then? But I was over here like changing diapers and doing baby baths and doing this, and she's worried about an egg white omelet. I'm like, I don't know, we don't have anything in common anymore. I don't know how to even connect. And we would call and talk, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this training thing for Pilates and that training thing for Pilates. And then I would come across something when the internet was still so new in 1995. I got some picture came across me that it had Pilates of the Caribbean as a meme, okay? And then the guy on the front was the pirate guy, and then he was doing this, right, but on the ground. And that's yoga, in case you're wondering. I'm setting you up pretty good here. So I send her the thing, Pilates of the Caribbean, and she's like, that's yoga. I cannot win. I don't know how to connect with you anymore. And that was on me, because I needed to get curious, and I needed to try harder, and I needed to positive remember with her instead of, you know what I mean? Like, I was just not finding my groove, and I could have done some work there. So, I just want to remind you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And it does bring up a lot of shame when you're embarrassed that you were the friend who didn't ask the questions, or you didn't reach out, and you didn't, do any of the good things. But you can start today. It's like the veil tore when Jesus died, and that's a pretty big theological thing if you really dig into it. But like, there's this big curtain that separates God from the people. Only the special, perfect guy who's done all the things right can go in there one time a year to the Holy of Holies, and that's where God was. And then when Jesus died, literally that veil tore, and it's like a big old curtain. And from that day forward, the curtain has been torn. So we don't have to be perfect yesterday, is what I'm trying to tell you. And you don't have to be perfect today or tomorrow, but you could at least just do something new. You could try harder. You could really sit down with yourself and say, which one of these things that's happening in the friendship is kind of on me? And then have that conversation, like, well, I've been not awesome. How can I be better for you? What do you want more of from me? What do you want less of from me? And then gird up your loins, because it's going to be really hard not to get defensive, but don't do it. Don't do it. Save your friendship. Be curious. Let it happen. Mull over it for the next week to 2 years. And then just work on it. All right. Start something. That's for someone who needs friends and has a little bit of capacity to do something creative, who loves to express themselves in a way that, I want to go to the park every week on Wednesday, and I want to go at 10 a.m. I know that there's a a young woman who does this. She started a walking group. Maybe some of you are part of it. It's down at the courthouse. She literally puts it on social media, invites everybody to go, and when you have something that's recurring that you can invite people to, that gives people an easy in without feeling like they have to be your best friend. So if they come to the walk, if they come to the park, if they come to the park collected, if you say, hey, I'm going to be at the park every week, Friday at 11. Oh, that's a terrible time. Babies are ready for food by then. But you know what I mean. And if you have something that you're doing already, invite people to it. Start something by opening it up and inviting people to do that with you. It's a really great way for people to self-select in. If they think you already are cute or fun or dress cool, they will show up. And you don't even have to dress good, I promise. But if they like anything about you already, the way that you make them feel comfortable, the way that you make them feel wanted, invited, anything, they will come, and then you can use it as an interview time. What are you into? Let's talk. Let's find out if we have anything in common and become friends. That's what start something is. And then pursue those compatible friends. I feel like that comes from that one in a sense. If you're inviting people and you're starting something that is new and recurring, then that's what I was kind of referring to, is you can kind of interview them to find out what's good, what you match well on. An interview is probably too strong because it feels weird. But the fact is, you just are pursuing someone. And it feels good to be pursued. Am I wrong? Everybody wants to be pursued, so if you start pursuing people, they will respond. And if they're not into it, they'll slowly stop coming, or whatever the case might be is. But I want to encourage you that being like Jesus is to pursue people. Jesus pursued us. He came after us. I'm getting the sniffles. All right. Let's go to the next one. So here's where we're getting into the real nitty-gritty. Before I start talking about these ones, the check yourself before you wreck yourself part comes back into play, because I want to tell you something about relationship problems. Everything that you like or don't like about other people is about you. I cannot even watch all the love shows, Love is Blind, Bachelor, you name it, all those shows. I'm obsessed with watching it because I'm trying to figure out what everybody's doing in their relationships. I'm like, ooh, but at the end, they're like, I love how you make me feel. You're just so this and you're so that. But everything that is about that person, they're smart. They make them feel safe. They make them feel like they can do anything. It's about them. Now, I feel safe because of you. But it's about how I feel. And so it's very weird. You're going to start seeing it if you look for it. There's your awareness noticing piece. What you notice is that if my mom looked fun to Paulette, that was because Paulette thought that what my mom does is fun. It's not because my mom is inherently only always fun. What is fun? Fun can be literally anything. Someone thinks fun is reading. I'm like, oh gosh, I have to sit down. It's so boring. But fun to me is being on that crazy roller coaster and imagining what's going to happen next. That exhausts people. That makes them freak out. I'm like, what's anxiety? No, just go with it. Roll with it, right? So everybody defines words differently, but when you find someone who defines the word the same as you, that's when you get along. That's when you like the thing about them. So, first of all, this is about you. And so if you don't like something in them, it's not them. It's you. If they have a thing about them that you don't like, ask someone else. Someone else probably really likes that about them. So really all we're doing here is finding compatibility with people. Like, we both think this is fun, we both think this is not fun. Cool, we agree. And so, what's the real problem is my first part of something's off in a friendship. If something is off in friendship, pretty much all of mine were people like, maybe she won't notice I'm backing or what. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I notice, there's the word, what's going on with our friendship? I'm like, something's off. What's the real problem? And if I'm being honest, the real problem was not just me. The real problem was the way that I was seeing the situation. I was expecting something that they couldn't provide me. That was a me thing. I needed to get my own needs met. And I needed to learn that I'm a verbal processor and that I have a lot of words to get out, but that other people would like to get their words out. Like, that's just balance in life and learning how to do something you're not naturally good at. And so the real problem was inside me. The friendships could have gone all the way, because we could be 54 years with my mom. My mom is sitting in the back corner, by the way. So the iceberg thing is real. Like, what's underneath what's showing? Like, here's an iceberg. Oh no. Okay, well, what's that going to do? It's going to rip your boat apart, and then you're going to sink. And so, here's my friendship. She's not texting me anymore. What's really going on? Well, why isn't she texting me anymore? If I could have gotten curious enough to ask, she'd be like, well, it does make me feel bad for visiting my family. Oh, shoot. That's me. That's not her. She's not rude. She's not abandoning me. She doesn't not like me. She doesn't, we can come up with so many. If someone says, can we talk? You can fill that in with 100 reasons why you think they need to talk. But what we come up with is not always it. You have to be open to the fact that what they're dealing with is different than you. So I needed to adjust my expectations. I have a little graph. Let me show you that one, Toby. It's in a book somewhere, and I don't have the proper reference for it because I have no idea whose book it is. But if you see here you've got reality on the bottom. That's a constant line. Whatever your reality is, there it is. And then you have expectations, and in between your expectations and reality is how miserable you're going to be. So if he will never, ever stop putting his underwear on the treadmill or on the floor or next to the basket or whatever the thing, if that's never going to change, you get to adjust your expectations or make a change. You have to adjust your expectations that he's not going to change. Get a wider, open basket that maybe he might catch every once in a while, right? Adjust the expectation, make a change on your own, but don't expect him to change, and adjust your expectations to realize that is not going to happen, but I love him anyway, because we're staying together. All right, and then go back to the other sheet again, thank you. So as you adjust your expectations, you might have to, what I'm calling DTR. This came from my daughter, so everything's an acronym. She's 22. Define the relationship. So I think this can be taken a lot of different ways, but what I mean when I say define the relationship is understand for yourself what is happening for you. So my daughter has a friend, and that friend never stops talking. And it's usually stuff that is not interesting to her at all. But they've been friends since they were 5 years old, and she wants to maintain the friendship. She's already decided that. And so she's just decided to define the relationship. When I go out with this friend, I know I'm going to be listening. I'm going to say, I'm going to say, wow, that's crazy, approximately 50 times each. And then I'm going to say, okay, I got to go 4 more times, and then I'm going to go, and then I'm going to be done. And that's what I can handle for the day. I'm going to put like an hour on this. What if you define the relationship? You have a friend who won't stop talking, and you say, I can do an hour this week. It'd be good to get out. It'd be good to go to a coffee shop. It'd be good to go wherever. and do the thing. But if you already know what you can handle and what you can't handle and what you're gonna do and what you're gonna get, then you've already set the boundary, in a sense, for what you can handle and what you want and what you wanna do. You actually have a ton of agency over yourself and you don't use it. You go, oh, I can't, because I don't want to. And in the meantime, you don't go spend time with that person, but now you're neglecting your desire to keep that friendship. So you have to decide what you're gonna do, and God gives us the ability to do those, to make those decisions. He says, you know what, live at peace with everyone as it depends on you, and go live your life. Go be fruitful and increase. Good job, ladies. You already did that part. So, but he gives us so much freedom to work and live and breathe and move and be free. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. And so be free to decide what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And it's not rude, and it's not mean, and it's not whatever for you to say, I'm gonna go every other week if she says, hey, let's go. And I'm not gonna initiate, but at least this is what I know I'm gonna get, right? It's just not that hard. Just take all this weird stuff off of it. Be free. Decide. Make decisions. I already said that. Okay. When something's wrong. Okay, now we're talking. The friend who was waiting for me to let her get a word in or to ask her a question, and she's backing away from me. She eventually, in that conversation, that I said, is something actually wrong, or is this just, busyness? And she said, well, when I'm with you, it might be the same way that you feel when you're with so-and-so. And she brought another friend that we knew. And unfortunately, at that time, that friend to me, it was almost unbearable to be with her. So my definition of that friendship was different than her definition of that friendship. And the thing that she said absolutely devastated me. I was bawling in the Home Depot parking lot in my car on the phone with her, like almost begging her to be my friend, because I was like, what? I am unbearable to be with? Like, that's every person's worst nightmare. To be rejected at a level and then told that actually you're just unbearable to be with was shocking to me. And I had no idea. And then I had to question everything in the whole wide world. And that was a 3-year pause. It took me to figure that out. I can't even express it. That was such a long pause for me. It was really hurtful to me. And it took me a long time to decide whether I could maintain a friendship with her some other day in the future, because I was so hurt. And I chose to pause it and not throw it away because of the value that I got from the friendship and because of the history that we had. But I had to do the work. I had to do the work of getting over it. And so finding out what the real problem is and getting over it on my part leads me to assuming the best. You have to assume the best of people. Turns out after a year we had a conversation, another year we had another conversation, and in that one was when I learned that she didn't mean that. She goes, what would that have meant to you if I had said it plainly? I said, that would have meant that I was unbearable to be with. And she was like, oh no, that's not what I meant. And so as I was paused, waiting, right, I needed to assume the best of her, and I was trying real hard, but it was real hard. And when I finally got to the truth that it wasn't that, then I had to finish doing my work, right? And our friendship is back. It's different, but it's back. And I didn't lose the friendship completely, because I feel like friendships and relationships are the only things we take with us to heaven. You don't get to take your car, you don't get to take your house, you don't get to take your favorite outfit, but you take your friends, and you take your husband, take your boyfriend. If they know the Lord, they get to go with you, and your kids too. And that's what's the most important, is like assuming the best of people in the pausing, in the waiting, in the work. And then it's time to take the initiative and say, okay, it's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm the worst. I'm going to change. And make those decisions. How are you going to change? How are you going to show up for them? I'm going to not talk the whole time. I'm just going to ask questions. What do I have next there, Joe? Oh, this is hard. I want to say a lot of things. I'm almost out of time. This is like an emotional wave. It just shows you that when you feel something, it comes up. You're like, oh my gosh, there's a feeling. I don't want to feel it. But as soon as you do, if you let it happen, at the end of the feeling, you have an opportunity to learn something, because feelings are there to tell you what's important. And at that little black circle is the opportunity to learn what's important here. I don't want to lose this friendship because it's valuable to me. There's my learning moment. And then after that, there's a lot of possibilities. So when you feel something, learn something from it. And after you've learned something, decide something. And after you decide something, stick to it. That's where your identity comes into play. You've got to know what you want, what's important to you, and then act on it. I have like some description. Will you scoot through those? Go, 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 go. And yeah, you have to decide, and you might need accountability, because it's hard to stick with something. Go to the next one. It's hard to stick to things because feelings go away, but motivations are still there. Motivations are revealed to you through feelings. It's hard to understand, but if you feel something, it makes you want to do something. So when the feeling goes away, that motivation is still alive in you. It's just not telling you every second of every day, because you can't live your whole life in tears. But I just want to remind you, you might need accountability, because feelings go away, but the motivation is still within you. And then last but not least, keep going. What do you want to do as a result of hearing like what we've talked about today? Is there any part of you that is inspired to do something? If you felt something, what did it make you want to do? Do you want to go after that friend? Do you want to start something new so that you can invite people to it? Do you want to discover what might really be off? Or do you want to praise the Lord because thank God things are actually pretty decent right now with friends? That's great. And I believe in you to be able to do anything. And God does too, because He would not have given us full agency over our whole lives. Have you ever noticed He's such a gentleman? He doesn't boss you around all that much. Every once in a while He'd be like, go talk to that girl. And then you're like, okay, I better. But for the most part, He's like, do you want to talk to that girl? Yeah. No. He's like, okay. He lets you do what you want to do because He wants to see what you're going to do. What are you made of? Do you want to be closer to Him? Do you want to be closer to others? Like, that's really all we do around here in this world, right? We're having relationships with others and relationships with God. And so, the Lord and I believe in you. So I just want you to do whatever it is. And I hope you would just make even the tiniest note, because when you write it on paper, it becomes real.